Good afternoon from the Red Mic. Hope everybody's doing okay today. Thursday afternoon. Today's Red Mic message. What's it called when you do what you say you're going to do? Some people would call that integrity. I certainly do. When I give somebody my word, I mean it. That's how I build trust with colleagues, with direct reports, with friends, with family. Like Cushman's dad said in Jerry Maguire, my word is stronger than oak. But unlike Cushman's dad, when I say it, I mean it. I wish everybody was the same. Now, I'm going to risk touching a third rail today. That's the one with all the electrical current that can turn you into, bacon, basically. I'm going to talk about a sacred cow in Texas, namely the Texas Longhorns, and indirectly the Texas A&M Aggies. Now, for the record, I don't have a dog in the fight. I really don't. I didn't go to either one of those schools. I went to a D2 school in Wichita Falls. I went Midwestern State University. Obviously not affiliated with either team, either school, either system. But before I jump in and grab that rail with both hands, first, I'm going to tell you a story just so you'll understand that I know how perilous talking about those two schools can be. Back when early in my career, I was a news reporter. I worked at the Times Record News in Wichita Falls, and we had a weekly entertainment slash culture kind of thing that came out. It was called Next. I don't know how they came up with the name. It's not important. Well, the idea was that two of our reporters, one an A&M grad and two a non-A&M grad, were each going to write a column. Obviously, the A&M grad was going to write one, why I love A&M, or something along those lines. And the TCU grad, a friend of mine named Kendrick Blackwood. Kendrick's now a teacher with, I think, with the State Department. He goes all over the world, basically. He and his wife both. It's fantastic. Look him up on Facebook. He's got some really interesting stories. Anyway, I digress. Kendrick, being a TCU grad and not really liking the color maroon at all, he was given the assignment to write the I hate A&M and here's why. And he did it with full gusto. I mean, he talked about burying the dog in the end zone and standing up for the whole game and, only kissing after touchdowns and, firing off the cannon, all the other stuff that A&M, the traditions, Tevye tradition. Yeah. All of that stuff. And he railed, but he did his job, right? He did what he was supposed to do. Now, somehow, I don't know if the I love A&M column ever got written. I don't know if it got written and got ignored. I don't know if it got written and accidentally didn't end up in print. But lo and behold, on that Friday, Kendrick's article was there in all of its glory, and the accompanying article was not there. Now, if the accompanying article had been there, I don't think it would have been a big deal. They would have seen it as a, point counterpoint, Jane, you ignorant, fill in the line from Saturday Night Live from many, many, many moons ago. But it didn't happen. So, oh my goodness. Our publisher apparently got phone calls from people that he went to the country club with and went out to, the more upper crust, upper class places in town. These were his friends that were calling to express their concerns. Now, of course, Kendrick got a ton of phone calls. This was pre-email, so this was all analog kind of stuff. It was phone calls or in some cases hard copy letters. Oh man, the letters to the editor were legion. Anyway, long story short, Kendrick almost lost his job over doing his job. He didn't come up with the idea. At least I don't think he did. Neither he came up with it, nor did Steve Clements, the other reporter. By the way, rest Steve Clements' soul. He passed a few years ago. Fantastic guy, fantastic writer. Big loss to the paper in Wichita Falls when he stopped working there. Anyway, I digress. But Kendrick almost lost his job, and it wasn't his fault at all. He did what he was supposed to do. Now, so that is, I told you all of that just so you understand that I understand that I'm about to grab this rail with both hands, simply because I think it's a complete lack of integrity. So here goes. After the World Series was over, the then Texas A&M baseball coach, Jim Schlossnagle, a reporter asked him about rumors regarding the open head coaching position at UT. He called the question and the reporter selfish. It's selfish question, selfish for you even asking, that sort of stuff. And then he went on to say, and I'm quoting here, I took the job at Texas A&M to never take another job again, and that hasn't changed in my mind. Well, he must have had a road to Damascus moment, because about 18 hours later, he jumped ship for UT. Now, since that announcement, a few A&M players have entered the transfer portal. At least one other player has called the coach's teaching and leadership methods into question, and a ton of rumors have come out about possible contact between the coach and UT's athletic leadership before and during the World Series. Now, I'm not going to, yeah, I am. If they talk to him during the season, before and during the World Series, that really calls into question their integrity as well, I think, because, yeah, you got to get your next coach, but at the same time, let him keep his mind on the players that he has, not the players that he might want to have. Calls into question whether he gave it, no pun intended, the old college try, whether he put every effort into winning those games and actually winning the championship, because, you win a championship, good players are going to want to go there. And I think it's tampering at its worst. Now, whether those portal players are hoping he'll grab them, or if they're just looking somewhere else trying to capitalize on the fact that they were the number 2 team in the nation, I don't know. I also don't know if the young guy who spoke out against him was really, really that animated and hated his guts as much as it seems like he does, or if it was, whether that was from what happened then, or if it was a long-term sour relationship. And, who knows? Maybe the NCAA will launch an investigation. Maybe they won't. Maybe we'll never know if UT and the coach were really talking while he was supposed to be leading his players to victory. I do know that he lied to the reporter. He called that reporter selfish. Regardless of the apology he offered later, integrity took a huge hit. I mentioned Jerry Maguire earlier. He was also right when he said, we live in a cynical world, and we work in a business of tough competitors. Yeah, you do, Jerry, but they're honest competitors. Cynicism, yeah, but I'd like to think that they're honest competitors as well as being tough competitors. I'd like to say that this transaction has turned my stomach so much that it'll prevent me from rooting for the Longhorns if they make it into the College World Series in the future. I've got a friend who he vowed to not root for the Cowboys as long as Jerry Jones owns them, because he was so incredibly disgusted about the way Tom Landry was fired. And to his credit, I'm pretty sure, unless it's a game that he was watching anyway because he wanted to find out what the other game was, I don't believe he's rooted for the Cowboys ever since. That's going back to what, 1989? Ton of integrity. He's my best friend. His name's Joe. Lives up in Oklahoma City. To his credit, he said that he's not going to root for the Cowboys, and to my knowledge, he doesn't. So I'm disgusted with the whole situation, mainly because I don't think this guy has any integrity. He lied to the reporter. He called him selfish. That's a complete lack of integrity in my book. Does that mean I'm probably going to stick to my guns? I'd like to think it would. But I suspect if they do make a run at some point in the future in Omaha, I'll probably have feet of clay. And as you probably know, some clay is burnt orange. And that's today's Red Mike message. I hope you found it interesting. I don't know that you necessarily found it helpful. It's more of a rant than anything else. But if nothing else, if you say you're going to do something, then by golly, do it. Be honest to your word. Have integrity. Have some actual character that means something. I hope you found this message, this Red Mike message, helpful. I hope that you will join me tomorrow. I hope that you'll like, share, and follow either on Facebook or YouTube. Those are the two streams that I'm doing live. And then I upload it later in the day to X, formerly known as Twitter, to Instagram, to Spotify, and also to LinkedIn. Again, please like, follow, and share, and I'll see you tomorrow. But before I go, as always, remember, life is short. Drink the bourbon.